Good morning, it's Rav Shlomo Furst here again at Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi in Yerushalayim here at Kodesh. We're learning Mishna Berura now, our second shir in the morning, and we're in Kuf Vav, Sif Beis. We'll be going now into the Ramah and some details about learning and teaching and how it affects a person's obligations in Kriya Shema and prayer, Shmona Esrei. Yeah, let's start with the Ramah directly, okay? Yeah, Yaakov, you want to read that again? We started this yesterday, we'll continue. We're going to go over the Mishna Berura again now.
So where are we
Im lo midla'acherim. The Ramah there in the second page.
the Im lo made la'acherim?
Yes, exactly.
Im lo made la'acherim, אין הפוסק כמו שנית באר לאל סימן פי tet. And if you are teaching other people, one does not stop, like was explained, I guess, onwards, like is explained onwards.
The L is above, previously in Siman Pei Tes.
Previously, pardon.
Right there, the L previously. I'll tell you, let's stop and do the Mishna Berura here in Sifkat and Ches. He's not, if he's teaching to other people, he's not to stop. And that's the psak of the Ramah. Yes.
אין הפוסק. ואפילו אם על ידי זה יעבור הזמן. And even if in so doing, the time will pass.
Right, he's going to lose the time of Shmona Esrei. He's teaching, but he can continue on. He does not have to stop. He is in fact not supposed to stop, according to the psak of the Ramah. Even if he's going to pass over the Zman, he'll miss the Zman of Tefillah, Shmona Esrei.
Okay. But dafka, and certainly, באופן שאם לא ילמדו עכשיו, יתבטלו, ולא יוכלו להתקבץ ללמוד אחר כך. באופן is using something?
Yeah, specifically באופן specifically in a way or a situation. Open is like a situation, a way.
And certainly in a way that if they're not learning now.
I mean, if they will not learn now, specifically in a situation, if they will not learn now.
They will not learn now, and they will they will be.
It'll become
nullified.
It'll become nullified.
Below we'll have the opportunity to gather to learn after this opportunity.
Right. It's now or never. You give a shir now, we'll have a shir now. If no shir now, we're not going to learn.
Halav hached posek im ya'avor zaman kriyat shema u'tefillah. Behold, lav hached. They don't stop.
Meaning from this, lav hachi, if not so, posek, he should stop the shir, right? And if it's not so, meaning they will be able to gather another time. So if not so, if it's not going to be that they will not be able to get it together another time, so if not so, meaning they will be able to get together another time, right. He should stop. Im yavru zman kriya shema tefillah. If the zman of the time of kriya shema and tefillah will pass.
So halav hached. If not so, posek im. Avoid the marker and then you stop and say Krishma and daven.
Right. Exactly.
So you shouldn't stop at all?
It depends. It depends as follows. If the shir that's going to be given can only be given now and at no other time, then he can give the shir and will not daven Shmona Esrei. However, if the shir can be given at a different time, if the time of Shmona Esrei and Kriya Shema is going to pass, he has to stop and Say Shema and Shema.
ומחיי אדם משמע תבחור גבני פוסק עבור זמן תפילה. And from the life of man,
This is the Sefer. It's called Chai Adam. That's a Sefer called Chai Adam. From the Sefer Chai Adam.
Okay. Mashma, it is heard that in all matters.
Yeah, they're called godly in all cases. They're called godly in all cases.
In all cases, posek imi avazman tefillah, we stop.
Meaning whether or not the shir will go on, whether the shir will not go on, in all cases, he used to stop and not lose out on the time of prayer.
Okay. The hamivatel tefillah mishum limud, someone who does not daven because of learning. Afilu lamed im acherim kol hayom, even if he learns with other people all day long, even lo lamad, as if he did not learn.
Right, so he's being very strong. A person's going to be vatal, ignore prayer because of learning, even if he's learning with people the whole day long, it's like he never learned at all.
Is this is not if he just pushes it off, this is if he doesn't daven at all,
That's
right?
right, it doesn't put
Well,
No, because we don't have that. Mishna was talking about the people in our time. We don't have the situation in Yeshiva anymore. He didn't have to do. He's already learned that. He didn't have to do. We have to do.
What about Tefillin?
Everyone has to do something. We learned that in the previous Mishna Berura. Any Mishna Berura, he's a Mishna Berura, they have to do that.
Without exception to the rule.
No,
So the two minute higher.
no.
Now it's not the Tefillah.
What does the Machaber say?
The word and it's Chavera.
Alright. What's the Machaber say?
That's the first one of the Tefillah.
There you go. And the Mishna said not just Kriya Shema, but also not Tefillah, but any other mitzvah, even mitzvah d'Rabbanan.
Including Tefillah, if it said including Tefillah, then it didn't stop and then it's not going to do the whole day.
Not for the Shema Ben Rocha.
No, the regular person.
Regular person must have. Okay.
With Elia,
That's the Elia Rab. That's also the name of the Sefer. Elia Rab is the Sefer.
and in the Elia Rava, Gam Kain, so too, Katav, it is also written, or he writes rather, Hashem Piskei Tostos, in the name of the Posiks of Tostos, Achmir Bazet, to be stringent in this matter.
Meaning there to be stringent and therefore daven even at the expense of the shir.
Ayin Veor,
That Be'er Halacha, that's the Be'er Halacha over here.
Right.
The Be'er Halacha.
okay. Ayin Ber Halacha, Arnu, that is our well.
What? No.
Our explanation.
Shebarana that we explain.
Okay. Shebarana that we explain. Dil Kule, Alma. Kule Alma.
This is a phrase. Kuli Alma literally means Kule, the whole Alma, the whole world. The Kuli Alma, it literally means the whole world, but it means meaning all opinions. In this context of halakha, it means all opinions.
Dil Kule Alma, Lechatchila, Asur Lola Lahatchil, Lamod Afilu Im Acherim, Achar Shekavar Higia Zman Kriyat Shema. So according to all opinions, Lechatchila from the outset it is forbidden to begin to learn even with other people, which I guess is the best way of learning, after the time for Kriyat Shema has arrived already.
Right, so everyone is, once the Zman of Kriya Shema has arrived, you have to say Kriya Shema first and then learn. You cannot, it's forbidden, osur.
Can I ask one question on that?
Yeah, sure.
So Zman Kriya Shema means the last time to say Kriya Shema.
Idea is, no, in this case, the beginning of this Zman Kriya Shema. Now, because in general, once you've reached the Zman of the Kiyuv, you can't do another, if it's a mitzvah veris and it has a Zman, you can't be engaged, you can't start to be involved with another mitzvah when you have a mitzvah veris which times has begun. So now, once the time period of Shema has begun, it's forbidden for you to start learning, right? Now, the question may be, what if there's going to be time for you to say in this case, Kriya Shema after the time? Meaning, for example, let's say the Zman of Kriya Shema begins at 6 a.m. It goes till, say, 9 a.m. Right? You can have a shir, or you can even learn by yourself, or you can even learn the karusa, but only say between 7 o'clock and 8:30, right? So can you start learning in order that you should be able to finish your shir in time, and then at the end of the shir, or in the karusa, end of your learning, say the Kriya Shema, because you'll have time, right? So that apparently that's also. And if you have time beforehand, you need to say the Kriya Shema first, and then you have to learn.
So what about like all the Daf groups who meet in the morning, like I presume that's Torah.
Right. So there, that's a shir that couldn't be done probably other times. They get the daven, they get early, they daven, say at 7, so they can learn from 6 to 7, right? And but that's when it's going to be. There'll be certain pay tests. It's explained in more detail. If you have if you're learning in a base medrash or learning in a shul, and there are details involved with that. That the Biur Halacha goes into details. I'm not sure if we'll do it. Maybe we will do it. We'll take a minute maybe tomorrow out of our time, some time out of our shir tomorrow to do that Biur Halacha. I'll have to see about that. But in the meantime, because he's explaining, I am a Biur Halacha, right? Now, this is the point we have to make. If he estimates, if he estimates, if he's estimating that what? Only in that case where he's going to estimate that if he learns, he's going to pass over the Zman of the Kriya Shema. Mashma that if he's not going to pass over the Zman of Kriya Shema, he can even start learning, right? Even before saying the Kriya Shema.
There's a concept. A lot of people learn before that.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. That's the point. Because let's say, as we said, let's say Zman Kriya Shema begins 6 o'clock, it goes to 9 a.m. Right? Right. So the shir, we can have a shir. Look, we can get everybody together, right? From 6 to 7, we'll have a minyan from 7 to 8 o'clock. Right, and then everyone goes, right? They go off to their jobs, to this and that, and everything like that. So you still, at the end of the shir and at the end of the davening, you still have an hour left before the end of the Zman Kriya Shema. So that's what the Mishna Berura means. I mean, the only time it's going to be usher, the Kuli Alma, is if you estimate that by starting the shir now and starting to learn now, you're going to not miss the Zman Kriya Shema. Then it's usher according to everybody. But if you're going to have time after the shir, right, to still say Kriya Shema, then what will the Mishna Berura goes into details, then you do have opinion to say you can start learning before. Okay.
I think the Rambam says that it's preferable to say Kriya Shema and daven as soon as possible, right? More or less.
In general, that's what in Pei Test is explained in more detail. There's such a concept as starting beheter or starting be'isr. if let's say the Zman of Kriya Shema was 6 o'clock and you started at 5:30, you started at time, you had green lights all the way down. Everything is, you're starting at a time period where there's no obligation for Kriya Shema. To start after the Zman is after the Zman period, that's not so simple according to some folks, because you now have an obligation to start saying your Shema, right? Which is maybe a more important din, a halakha, of mitzvah to fulfill than you're learning. However, if it's not able, you're not able to learn, so it's a sacrifice of either saying Shema or learning. And if you're still going to have time to learn afterwards, so of course you should learn. That way, because that way you can do both. It's only when you only have the option of only doing one or the other, it becomes more complicated.
So it's preferable to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
Start learning before Zman Kriya Shema.
Yeah. If you want to make everybody happy, start learning before the Zman Kriya Shema. You have this also. It's not. It's learning is only one aspect. It's about doing everything. This is very, very relevant to those who take in early Shabbos. Right? They take in early Shabbos in, but many times they don't realize if you take an early Shabbos in, that's within the way that you can do it. It's permissible. If you don't do it the right way, you could be messing up things very seriously. But so you daven Meyer while it's still broad daylight. You come home now with Shabbos, you want to make Kiddush and start your Suda while it's still broad daylight. Very good. If, however, you came home close to Shkia, and if it's going to be, say, within a half an hour of the Zman Kriya Shema of the nighttime, you cannot start a Suda within the Zman of half an hour before your Zman Kriya Shema. So if Kriya Shema is at 6:30 at nighttime, if you at 6 o'clock, you cannot make Kiddush, you cannot make your Suda. You're stuck, you're in limbo. You can't do anything. You're going to have to, now if you say, and saying Kriya Shema at 6 o'clock, so early in Bein Hashmosh is not going to accomplish too much for you, because you're going to have to repeat the Kriya Shema anyway. Right? So therefore, if you say, if you come home and you make Kiddush and start eating before 6 o'clock, before a half an hour before the time of Kriya Shema, you're okay. But you can still have to say Kriya Shema again. You're going to have a kazayas of lechem also after the Seitz Chacham, right? But you're not going to be over Nissa, right? But if a person starts a Suda within a half an hour of Kriya Shema, he's over Nissa. And he's really supposed to stop. Stop eating, can't continue the Suda. That's very similar halakha. The same thing about learning. So that's what we call matkil beheter or matkil be'isr. Do we start permissibly or do we start when it is prohibited? Okay. Let's continue with it.
So, we are holding at.
So now we have to go back to the Ramah. Go back to the Ramah. That was about learning with other people. So according to the Ramah, you don't have to stop. According to the Mishna Berura, the Mishna Berura seems to be inclined to saying you should not give a shear and lose out Zman Tefillah.
Okay.
Right? Even though the Ramah indicates that you could.
ומכל מקום, עוסק קורא פסוק ראשון של קריאת שמע, according to בית יוסף, סימן עין, ואם אין השעה עוברת ויש לו שהוא עדיין להתפלל או לקרוא קריאת שמע, אינו פוסק כלל. So in all instances, he stops and reads the first pasuk of Kriyat Shema, Shema Yisrael, I guess. V'im ein hasha'ah, and if the hour is not passed, and he has
Shows time.
He has time, right?
Adayin. He still has time.
Still has time.
Yesh lo shos adayin. He still has time. That's what it is. Yesh lo shos adayin. He still has time.
Still has time to daven and do Kriyat Shema. He doesn't have to stop at all.
He doesn't have to stop at all, right? So it's the question: is the Shah, is the time going to pass or the time not going to pass?
Sorry, did you ask a question?
No.
Or-
Okay, so let's see the Mishna Berura here, right? So if he's going to be giving his shir, right? So according to the Ramah, he doesn't have to stop. However, since the Zman will pass, he should at least stop to say the first pasuk of Kriya Shema. Okay, that's the Mishna Berura now. Go ahead.
That's it. Okay. So Rishon, כדי לקבל מלכות שמיים בזמן קריאת שמע, in order to take upon himself the yoke of kingdom of heaven in the time of Kriyat Shema, in the proper time.
Right, to assume the sovereignty of heaven upon himself in the time of the creation. Okay.
ויחזור אחר ההלכה שיש בה יציאת מצרים, and he returns
Well, he should actually, in this case, he should like seek after a halacha. He should try and find the halacha to mention in the context of his shir, right? This is based on a Gemara in Brachos. I believe it was Rebbe would be giving a shir at this time in the early morning, and the Talmidim asked themselves, when does Rebbe the Kabbalah Shemayim, right? So he said when he passes his hands over his face, he says the first pasuk of Kriya Shema, and they asked, well, what is about Yetzias Mitzrayim? You have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim also. So he said he would bring a halacha down relevant to Yetzias Mitzrayim, and he would mention that in the course of the year, and that would be his Zekel Yetzias Mitzrayim.